Welcome to Blueprints for Brilliance Coaching Insights, a podcast by coaches for coaches. Our guests share their hard-won wisdom to help you grow your coaching business and create a life of success. So get ready to unlock the blueprints to your success. Welcome, everyone, to our newest episode. We are thrilled to have you, and I am absolutely thrilled to have someone here all the way from just outside of Rome. His name is Diego Moretti, and he is a relationship coach for women. So thank you so much for joining me, Diego. It's lovely to have you here.
Thank you, Jan. It's a wonderful opportunity to be here. Thank you very much for having me today.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about how you became a relationship coach for women. I can imagine that there must have been some kind of journey or story to get you there. You don't normally wake up one day and say, that's what I want to do. So tell us how that happened.
You are 100% right. Basically, I think that my deepest nature is to help people. This is the majority of coaches out there, probably all of coaches out there. They are just people who want to help other people. So since I was a kid, I always felt this urge, this need of giving advice or helping people who were struggling for something. And I was living in Germany. It was 2012, if I remember correctly. And I've met this guy who was already a follower of Tony Robbins. And he introduced me. He said, he saw my nature. He said, Diego, you are a coach. You are born a coach. You have this call. You have this, thing inside of you. You want to help other people. So why don't you make it a profession? And he introduced me to Tony Robbins. We created sessions in one restaurant, which were like, there was some people having problems, and we were like brainstorming together, giving them advice, giving them support, giving them opinions, points of view, even sometimes telling them, hey, you're doing something not right. You should do something else. So we were not friends. We were actually coaches. And I love to say that the coach is not your friend, is someone who is working with you on a change. And change is not always good. Sometimes it's bad. Sometimes you have to struggle. You have to face your fears. You have to go out of your comfort zone. It's not easy, but it's all about transformation. It's all about the final result of what you really want. And you're going to be a different person. So we are talking big stuff here, okay? So he introduced me to Tony Robbins. I started following him. I started following one of his courses. And then in 2014, I went to London for the Unleash the Power Within event, which was great. I said, okay, this is my call. I need to do this in my life. So I started getting certified. That's another very important step because, it's not necessarily like, okay, I like helping people. I am a coach. No, it's not like that. You need to be certified, in my opinion. You need to study with professionals. You need to learn your strategy. You need to learn your coaching. You need to practice. I have 180 hours of practice with real people in real coaching situations. So, yeah. And then I decided, okay, since I was a child, I loved the dynamics, the relationship between men and women. Why men and why women are struggling so much in 2024 to find the significant one, to find the other half of the apple. What is the problem there? Why is so difficult? So basically my vocation now is to be the trade union, the point of connection between the two worlds, like call me an interpreter, a translator between the Venusian and Martian, the two languages, because men come from Mars and women come from Venus, and we all know the story. But I decided, like, yeah, why can't I make the two things communicate and work together as a team, not against each other? That's the point, in my opinion. We can talk, we can communicate way better if you just put ourselves into the other person's shoes. Like, what is he thinking? What is she thinking right now? It is possible. It needs work, but it's possible. So that's my big coaching strategy that I'm sharing with you today.
I love that. I love that. It's so interesting. I think some of the communication problem is figuring out who you are and what you want and trying to live that way. and not be afraid to just kind of put it out there and say, and, make mistakes and,
Yeah.
you know, find the wrong people. And it's interesting that you say that because when I met my husband was after I had gotten out of a bad relationship and I got
Mhm.
divorced and I took a year off to just regroup. And then I took another year off to make sure I got regrouped after that. And then when I met him, I was totally
Mhm.
myself.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to be anyone. And
Yes.
I met the most amazing man ever. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, I would think that's a big part of it is getting comfortable with
That's
yourself and how you
yeah.
present yourself.
Absolutely. That's the secret. When you make mistakes, it's all about, okay, this is what I don't want. What I want is not this. So it's a start because in the end, you're going to eventually find out who you want. But if you didn't try who you don't want, how can you know what you want? It's all about the process. It's all about learning. It's all about being your true self. And the society of today, it's a real big deal because it doesn't let you be yourself. Because if you are too honest, you're aggressive. If you're not honest, you're hiding something. For men, is sometimes very difficult to express their feelings because they are afraid to be judged or be criticized. We cannot cry in public, otherwise we are seen as weak. When I coach, I like to first know the person I'm helping. Who are you? What is your story? Exactly like you said, we all have a story, we all have a background, and where we come from is who we are today. I had several relationships in my life which changed me in certain ways. And it also another factor is the time in my life when these relationships happened. When I was a child, when I was 20, I was a certain person and I met a certain person that changed me into who I am today. How do I decide what I want, who I want, and who I don't want? I don't know. I need to live it to say, okay, this is not what I want in a relationship. Let's move on and find someone different. Because the mistake that many other people make is like they go always for the same person, for the same type of relationship. If you leave a toxic relationship, why are you looking for another one? You have to change completely. So, what you did was amazing. You went out of your comfort zone. You took a year to settle things down and say like, okay, who is Jan? Who does she want? Okay, is this what she wants? Probably not. So let's go for something else. It's not always easy, but you made it. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, best thing ever. But I also think that you have to learn how to trust your gut and
Mm-hmm.
trust those little things that don't quite seem right when you're with someone and
Mm-hmm.
and don't ignore them. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. It's sometimes it's difficult because you think like, okay, perfection doesn't exist. And some people look for perfection and they have to settle down for compromise, which is not always easy and not always what you want. My opinion is you can find perfection. That person is not perfect, but is perfect for you. And with that process, even the defects of that other person will become manageable, tolerable, even good. But when you find your home, I call that person home because it makes you feel at home. You can talk about everything without being scared of being judged, criticized, misunderstood, or whatever. It takes time, it takes equilibrium, it takes honesty, it takes courage because I just met you and I tell you about myself, and that's my point. When you meet someone and you open yourself without any fear, that person is going to be there because he knows you 110%, even that 10% you don't know about yourself.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. So tell us a little bit about your clients and some of the bigger transformations that you've helped them through. Because sometimes I think you get into place where you think that I'll never find that person. I want to, but I never will. And that's such a hard place to be.
Okay. When I have a client and she says, my clients are usually women around 30s, business women which don't have enough time to go look for the significant one, or maybe they are scared that since they are successful, men are intimidated by their success, which is happens a lot. Okay. First of all, the important thing is know yourself. Know who you are. Don't be afraid to explore yourself, because we change every single day according to our experiences. So, who are you? Do you trust yourself? Do you feel confident about yourself? Really confident? And this is a deep question, because you have to dig really deep to find out that even the most successful woman in the world has some insecurities, which we all do, and that's totally fine. But when you change your mindset from I'm never going to find the significant one into he's already out there and he's already looking for me, that changes a lot. I had a very dear friend of mine. She was from Naples. I was in Germany. And she said, Diego, write down a list of everything you want in a girl and put it into your wallet. That's the message for the universe. Well, long story short, after a year, I found a girl which was exactly every single list item in the list. It's amazing, unbelievable, but it is absolutely possible because it happened to me. So if it happened to me, it can happen to anyone.
That's great. I love that. Actually, I did that. I
Yeah, you
said
did. Did it
I
work?
it worked. It totally worked.
Absolutely, absolutely.
After what I've been through, I was like, I won't tolerate this. I won't tolerate that. This is my
Hmm.
plan. Stick
Hmm.
around or leave. I guess you really do need to know what you want, don't you?
Absolutely. And the more detailed you are in the list, the best the results will be. Absolutely. I guarantee that. To answer your question, we were talking about a case. There was a girl who was struggling with the opposite sex, but also with her relationship with her mother, and a man. So I know deeply men. I'm not a woman, so I don't know exactly the dynamics between mother and daughter, which are almost as deep and as complex as father and son. Believe me, because every man in the world struggles with his father relationship. But then we analyzed step by step, little by little, every day. We fixed a little bit of the things that were going on with her mother. And when she did that, she found out she was ready to go and move on with a relationship with a man. So it all comes to, it starts with us. If we are not happy with ourselves, if we are not okay with who we are, if we don't accept who we are, and there is nothing we can change about that, we are going to have problems projecting this persona out of ourselves. So make sure you know yourself, make sure you go towards a path of learning, of better yourself every single day, and then you can move on into a relationship. So, like I said, always be honest, starting with yourself.
Yeah, and it's so important to have people like you who can help someone through that process because it's typically not something you can see yourself. And you kind of need somebody to guide you or at least to
Mm-hmm.
tell you that red flag is important or that feeling, that really good feeling is okay too. Because sometimes we don't always want to allow ourselves to feel good and happy.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yes. With coaching is always like, for example, in Italy, in the north part of Italy, it's getting a little bit, but in the center and in the south, we are still a little in the past when it comes to ask for help. Because in my country, if you ask for help, especially on this side, they tell you like, okay, I don't need a psychiatrist. I said, it's not a psychiatrist, it's not a psychologist, it's a coach, it's completely different. But sometimes it's hard to admit to ourselves, I need help. because when it comes to that point, we always over exaggerate. What kind of help do I need? Oh my God, I need a shrink. Oh my God, I'm sick. Oh my God, I cannot make it by myself. Why? We are billions of people on the planet. Ask for help. Don't be afraid, because I did in the past, and I realized today I achieved so much in my life that by myself I just couldn't, or maybe I could have, but I would take 10 times longer, because before me somebody else wasn't working in my path. So they know, hey Diego, this is what I did, and this is really what helped me. So look for a coach. There are thousands of coaches out there, really, really many. So you want to look for someone who knows their profession, is certified, he has a lot of hours of expertise, a lot of cases, and he's going to really help you by knowing who you really are. And that's starting from there.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. In the States as well, we weren't always fans of admitting that we were not perfect or that we have
Mm-hmm.
problems and that there are things that we don't know how to fix. And
Yeah.
so I'd like to think that that's changing. I feel like it is, and it's not as taboo as it once was. So
Mm-hmm.
we're working on it. So you need to work on it over there.
Yes, Italy, it's a little bit more problematic when it comes to coaching because, first of all, in my opinion, there is something which I'm not really proud of, which is your success is the envy of someone else. So if you're successful in Italy, there are a lot of people who are jealous of you, envious of you, and they want you fail. They want to see you fail. I don't know why we are individualistic, opportunistic. We don't like the success of other people if it's not our own. In the States, it's completely different. At least in my personal experiences, I made a lot of trips to the US and I spent a lot of time in there. Um, Basically, your success is the result of a community, it's a result of an entourage, of a group of people who helped you achieve that success. So that success is the success of everyone. So everybody's there to celebrate your achievements because they are the achievements of everyone who helped you. I had a few conferences over there about coaching, especially with the University La Bocconi, which is one of the most famous in Italy. And they asked me to talk about coaching, and times were not ready. So I did this conference. Many people asked me for information, but then they said, like, oh, we don't need any help. We can make it on our own. And I was like, yeah, that's why you are going to fail, because people are there to help you. So why don't you ask for help? I In my life I asked for help so many times I've lost count, and the person I am today, and I'm so proud of who I am today, it's all about asking for help.
I love that. Oh, so you're spreading a good word. You're making it happen over there. Good for you.
Thank you.
So, if people want to reach out to you because they want some help with their relationship, and what is the best way for them to reach you?
For now, I would say my LinkedIn page, the same one you contacted me through, because my website is getting a huge renovation. I am having a professional taking care of it. So in a few days, he's going to be ready. He's going to be ready to receive requests. I have a free session, of course, to know the person, listen to their struggles on everything. And then we decide which is the best course of action. I offer several services. And believe me, I know it sounds fake. I know it sounds not true, but I don't really care about money. I really care about helping the other person. So if this means choosing the cheapest option of my services, I'm going to be the first one to tell you, hey, listen, this is the best program for you, not the most expensive one. I'm not there to, steal money or give something which is not value for people. If it's just consulting that you need, just go for consulting, even if it's the cheapest option. So yeah, I think LinkedIn page. I will have an Instagram profile pretty soon. Actually, you can check me out. It's called I Create Love, and you're going to find me as well on Instagram, and we'll very soon have the website up and running, And then I also have a Facebook profile, which is going to become a group, of course, of my clients, so we can exchange tips and tricks and free sessions as well, free group sessions, anything when it comes about helping people.
I love that. Well, we can tell you're very genuine just by meeting you today and talking with you. So we will put the links to all of those things in the show notes.
Yes.
Your website will probably be up by the time this goes live, so that would be
Yes.
great. And I have one last question for you, please. If you could provide one tip to make the world a better place, what would that be?
Oh my God, I can give you so many, but the first thing that comes to my mind is speak your mind. Never be afraid of telling other people what you need, what you want, who you are, without shame, without embarrassment, without regrets. Because if you don't, and you always ask yourself, what if I did? That is going to be a regret, and we cannot reverse back time. I wish it was possible, but it's not. So speak your mind.
I love that. Diego, thank you so much for joining me today. This has been such a pleasure to get to know you.
Thank you so very much for having me. And I'm looking forward to hear the podcast and see you again and maybe being interviewed again with a little bit more specifics of my work and what I help people with.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us today on Blueprints for Brilliance Coaching Insights. We hope you're leaving this episode with inspiration to take your coaching business and your life to the next level. If you found value in this episode, we would love it if you would subscribe and share it with someone else who you think might benefit from hearing it. Thanks, and we'll see you in the next episode.